In the heart of Gaza City, nestled amidst the turmoil of a region marred by conflict, an unusual event was about to unfold. A rocket was launched, but those watching the news couldn't explain what they were witnessing. As the rocket ascended into the sky, something unexpected happened. A bright spherical object appeared on the screen of the news cameras, hovering near the rocket's trajectory. It emitted a soft, ethereal glow that contrasted starkly with the dark backdrop of the night. It's reported that at the time, the news anchors didn't spot the object, but those at home were caught off guard by the mysterious intruder, struggling to explain its presence. It wasn't long before viewers across the region and beyond were glued to their screens, witnessing the bizarre spectacle unfold in real time. The orb, suspended in the night sky, seemed to be in no hurry to depart. It danced gracefully around the ascending rocket, moving with an elegance that defied earthly physics. It emitted pulses of light that bathed the rocket in an otherworldly radiance, creating a surreal tableau against the backdrop of the Middle Eastern conflict. News of the orb's appearance quickly spread, captivating audiences across the globe. Speculations and theories abounded. Some believed it to be a sign, an omen of hope or change amidst the ongoing strife, while others suggested it was a manifestation of extraterrestrial presence drawn to the tumultuous region. The incident garnered the attention of experts, governments, and UFO enthusiasts. In the days that followed, discussions about the mysterious orb reached every corner of the world, and it became a symbol of intrigue and curiosity, prompting debates about the existence of unexplained phenomena and the potential for intelligent life beyond our planet. Many have since embarked on a quest to decipher the orb's origins and purpose. They examined data, conducted experiments, and sought to understand the nature of this enigmatic visitor. The incident sparked renewed interest in the possibility of advanced life, inviting questions about humanity's place in the universe. One user said that these orbs are some of the most commonly sighted unidentified objects, and went on to explain that for years, government officials have reported seeing these close to missile bases. While the region has been no stranger to conflict and strife, the appearance of an orb-shaped object hovering above Gaza's skies adds a layer of intrigue and wonder. On a night when tensions were running high in Gaza City, a group of residents was startled by the sudden appearance of a radiant orb-shaped object in the night sky. Eyewitnesses described the unidentified object as a glowing sphere of light, emitting a soft glow that stood out against the backdrop of darkness. The eyewitnesses said that its appearance was unlike anything they had ever seen before, and it quickly became a source of astonishment and curiosity. The eyewitness accounts of the Gaza sighting were strikingly consistent in their descriptions. Residents reported a spherical or orb-shaped object, approximately the size of a small aircraft, hovering silently above the city, further adding that the mysterious orb was able to travel at extremely fast speeds without making a sound. They said that it wasn't the first time that these objects had been seen throughout the area, and added that they also had the ability to stop motionless, saying that no plane or helicopter has this ability. What set this sighting apart from other encounters were the accounts of unusual movements. The orb exhibited maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics. It hovered in place, executed sharp turns, and accelerated rapidly with a grace that defied conventional understanding. The appearance of the orb unidentified object had a profound impact on the residents of Gaza, and in a region accustomed to turmoil and conflict, this mysterious encounter introduced an element of wonder and uncertainty. The skies above Gaza had witnessed countless scenes of violence and strife, but on this night, they bore witness to something inexplicable and mesmerizing. Some skeptics suggest that the orb could have been a result of natural phenomena, such as ball lightning or atmospheric electrical discharges. While these explanations can account for certain sightings, they do not align with the detailed descriptions of the orb's behavior and movement. Throughout human history, warfare has often been accompanied by accounts of strange and unexplained phenomena. Among these phenomena, glowing orb UFOs have gained particular notoriety due to their recurrent appearances during times of conflict, and while war is a time of heightened stress, vigilance, and military activity, it is also a period when unusual sightings in the sky tend to increase. During recent attacks in Gaza, many have noticed strange glowing objects that appear to be observing what's happening below. Accounts of glowing orbs during wartime can be traced back centuries, and these sightings typically involve the observation of luminous orbs in the sky, often described as spherical or oval in shape, exhibiting behaviors that defy conventional explanations. One theory posits that some glowing, unidentified objects during war may be attributed to the presence of classified military technology. Proponents argue that governments may conduct secret tests or operations involving advanced aircraft or drones that are not publicly acknowledged. These technological advancements could produce unusual visual effects, potentially leading to sightings of glowing orbs. However, due to their size, and the military not taking credit for them, many have said that this is not the case. Eyewitness accounts of glowing orbs during war are often vivid and compelling. Soldiers and civilians who have experienced these sightings describe orbs that emit intense, often pulsating light. These orbs are known for their ability to hover, perform rapid accelerations, and execute sharp maneuvers that defy the capabilities of conventional aircraft. One striking aspect of glowing orbs is the consistency and detail of eyewitness accounts. Witnesses describe orbs that emit brilliant light, often pulsating or changing colors, and these orbs are known for their ability to move in ways that defy the laws of physics, including rapid accelerations, sharp turns, and sudden disappearances. While some skeptics argue that these sightings can be attributed to natural phenomena, such as ball lightning or conventional aircraft, the sheer volume of eyewitness testimonies and the absence of definitive explanations challenge such dismissals. One interesting account of an unidentified object showing interest in missiles and a military base is that of the Minot Air Force Base encounter. Just like numerous military bases across the United States, Minot Air Force Base, located in North Dakota, has been associated with multiple UFO sightings. The state of North Dakota itself has also had its fair share of such encounters. Although we will explore other incidents later, a significant event occurred in the autumn of 1968, when several military personnel at Minot Air Force Base observed an extraordinary and undoubtedly unconventional aircraft for an extended period of over 3 hours. This incident left the witnesses perplexed and raised intriguing questions about what they had witnessed. On October 24, 1968, specifically around 1 a.m, when the majority of North Dakota's inhabitants were undoubtedly in the midst of their slumber, a team of campers stationed at the Minot Air Force's Oscar 6 launch facility witnessed an intriguing phenomenon. A towering, radiant entity glistening in the sky above. This unexplained sighting left the observers astounded, prompting a flurry of questions and speculations regarding the nature and origin of this remarkable occurrence. The unit, responsible for ensuring above-ground security during an ongoing underground operation conducted by the Target Alignment Team, had the responsibility of promptly reporting any sighting to their superior on duty, Staff Sergeant William Smith, who held the position of security controller. As reported by the unit, the observed object descended in the vicinity of some trees. This information was immediately relayed to the appropriate authorities to ensure timely and appropriate response. The object's descent near the trees implies a specific location of interest, potentially requiring further investigation. In the early hours of the morning, specifically around 2:30 in the morning, another team consisting of Robert O'Connor and Lloyd Idley, part of the missile maintenance crew, would relay a similar observation to Smith. On this occasion, they reported an unusual light situated towards the east of the bridge. It is worth mentioning that the duo were in the midst of driving to the N7 launch facility when they came across this peculiar sighting. Notably, they mentioned that the light, whatever its nature may have been, seemed to be keeping pace with their vehicle. Upon reaching their destination at the launch facility, they made note of the fact that the unidentified craft had now shifted its position to the south, further adding to the intrigue surrounding the situation. This particular occurrence provides a deeper insight into the series of events that unfolded, shedding more light on the details and lending further weight to the overall narrative. Recognizing that an exceptional event was unfolding, the dispatcher decided to establish a connection between O'Connor and Isley's communications and those of radar approach control. As the night progressed into the early morning hours, this direct line of communication would receive numerous reports from various personnel at Minot Air Force Base, capturing the unfolding events in detail. The launch control facilities became increasingly worried about the presence of a mysterious, luminous object hovering above their respective destinations, as well as the potentially dangerous payloads they contained. This was a matter of utmost concern for the launch control facilities, as they knew that a gradual but certain increase in reports regarding these sightings would soon come from their own staff. As the unfolding of events progressed, the reports surrounding this exceptionally peculiar encounter also evolved, presenting a myriad of diverse details. According to one account, an object resembling the sun came into view, approaching the security fencing near the officer's location. It hovered momentarily before swiftly zooming away. In response to this extraordinary sighting, the officer in question dispatched 2 members from his team to trail the luminous entity, seeking to gather more information and shed light on the mysterious incident. According to the description, the unidentified flying object continued its descent for approximately half a mile before finally reaching a clearing. According to a strange account, there is mention of an occurrence where an unidentified object appears to split into 2 distinct parts, heading in opposing directions. Curiously, these parts would later reconvene and intentionally pass beneath each other. Additionally, various other reports describe a sizable object with a striking luminosity that hovers above, displaying rapid acceleration and sudden changes in trajectory. Moreover, witnesses observe a variety of colors emanating from the object, ranging from a brilliant white to amber and green. The number of reports regarding the events of 14th of October 1968 was plentiful, indicating the significant occurrence of these incidents. Despite variations in the specific details of the lights witnessed, the consistent descriptions of an orange glow and round or saucer-shaped crafts serve as strong evidence for the authenticity of these events. This abundance of testimony supports the notion that something very real and noteworthy took place on that particular day. In the military setting, not only would the personnel stationed on the ground have the opportunity to observe the objects through radar and their own eyes, but even a B-52 aircraft returning to Minot Air Force Base would also encounter one of these unidentified objects. What's more, the encounter would occur at a remarkably close distance, adding to the significance and intrigue of the event. In the beginning, none of the crew members aboard the B-52 plane noticed anything unusual. However, as they approached the runway at approximately 3:50 in the morning, they received additional information from the radar approach control. According to the latest report, the mysterious object was clearly detected on their radar. Moreover, the crew was informed that they should be able to visually spot it at their 1 o'clock position within the next 3 miles of their flight. This new information not only raised their awareness, but also heightened their curiosity about the nature of the object they were about to encounter. The crew members were now eagerly anticipating the sight of this enigmatic entity and were prepared for a potentially intriguing experience ahead. During the descent of the B-52 aircraft, the unidentified flying object persistently remained at a safe distance of 1 mile to the left of the plane. Interestingly, as this was happening, the UHF radio transmission systems to the radar approach control suddenly ceased to function. This unusual communication disruption lasted for an approximate distance of 20 miles. During this captivating incident, right before the object disappeared and the transmission systems were restored, the radar scope camera aboard the aircraft remarkably recorded a few seconds of footage, providing a glimpse of the object's intriguing behavior as it gracefully and intricately spiraled in motion. The visual documentation captured by the camera serves as a crucial piece of evidence, contributing to the comprehensive understanding of this enigmatic event. Despite the absence of the object, which caused an undeniable sense of unease among the crew, they made the decision to deviate from their original plan of proceeding directly to landing. Instead, they opted to execute a well-rehearsed missed landing maneuver, thereby ascending back into the air. The rationale behind this strategy was to navigate the aircraft in a circular path for another circuit before finally making a genuine landing. This approach not only aimed to create a thorough operation, but also sought to enhance safety measures and ensure a smoother landing experience. However, prior to initiating an alternative approach, a high-ranking military official, namely a general stationed at the base, would issue a commanding directive instructing the team to abort their planned landing and instead ascend once again into the vast skies, with the objective of locating and capturing photographic evidence of the enigmatic object. As reported by the Radar Approach Control, a peculiar and noteworthy phenomenon was observed approximately 16 miles to the north-northwest of the Minot facility. Notably, this object displayed an unusual characteristic of being completely motionless, and furthermore, it bore a distinct resemblance to an object resting firmly on the ground. The aircraft altered its trajectory and directed itself towards the radar abnormality. Nevertheless, from a distance of 10 miles, the two pilots were able to perceive a massive illuminated object in front of them. Major James Partin, one of the crew members, later recollected that the object resembled a small sun positioned on the ground beneath them. It was an extraordinary sight, as if a radiant celestial body had been mysteriously placed on the Earth, captivating their attention and curiosity. The aircraft would eventually pass directly above the luminous object and unintentionally utilize the circular edge as a reference point to execute a 180-degree turn, retracing its original path. During this maneuver, Captain Bradford Runyon, the co-pilot, observed the exterior of the craft and likened its appearance to that of molten steel, attributing it to the peculiar and somewhat subdued reddish glow emitted by the object. Upon evaluation, the crew made an estimation regarding the dimensions of the object, gauging it to be roughly 100 feet wide, 200 feet long, and approximately 50 feet high. Additionally, they observed a tube-like section on one side that seemed to extend towards what appeared to be a car bumper. Interestingly, the rear of this bumper emitted an eerie green-yellow glow, which in turn illuminated the connecting tube. For further visual reference, sketches depicting this particular section of the craft can be found below. During the descent of the B-52, just as it happened when the object approached earlier, the communication systems suddenly became inactive as they flew directly over the craft at an approximate altitude of 1,500 feet. This intriguing event, where the object and the B-52 intersected paths, resulted in a temporary loss of communication. The B-52 bomber would continue along its current trajectory towards Minot Air Force Base, disregarding the stationary object that was left behind. Due to this detour, the plane would eventually touch down at the designated landing strip, but nearly 2 hours later than originally scheduled, specifically at 4:40 in the morning. Shortly after that, at 4:49 in the morning, a series of alarm systems, including those in the outer and inner zone areas of Launch Facility Oscar 7, would be triggered, indicating a breach in the facility's boundaries. This unexpected event would raise concerns and necessitate immediate attention and investigation from the relevant authorities. The security alert team promptly received urgent instructions to conduct an immediate investigation of an undisclosed incident. Upon their swift arrival, they discovered that both the main gate and the side access gate were left unlocked, raising concerns about possible breaches of security. Without wasting any time, the diligent team meticulously combed through the surrounding areas both inside and outside the facility, diligently searching for any signs of unauthorized entry. Despite their thorough examination, no trace of intruders, whether human or extraterrestrial, could be found, leaving the nature of the incident shrouded in mystery. During the search of Oscar 7 conducted by the security team, multiple sightings of a luminous object over the N7 facility continued to be reported. However, by 5:30 in the morning, the object seemed to have diminished in brightness and eventually vanished from sight. This intriguing observation raises questions about the nature of the object's disappearance. Rather than disappearing abruptly at a high velocity, it gradually emitted less and less light until it eventually vanished. This phenomenon suggests a possible depletion of power or energy, as if the object had exhausted its energy source. Right after the incidents took place, it became apparent, especially when looking back at it and considering all the available information, that there was a distinct lack of interest from the military and their UFO investigation in truly uncovering the truth behind what occurred during the early morning hours of October 24, 1968. Furthermore, there was even less inclination to make a genuine explanation accessible to the public. In hindsight, it is clear that there was a deliberate avoidance of delving deeper into the events and providing a comprehensive understanding of the situation to the general public. To illustrate, despite assigning 6 ground staff members to fill out the standard AF-117 form, which is the Air Force Form 117 sighting of unidentified phenomena questionnaire, no effort was made to engage any of the B-52 pilots in conversation. Interestingly, it was solely due to the diligent work of independent UFO investigators that the public gained access to an alternative perspective on this matter. These investigators went above and beyond to shed light on the events, making sure that the wider public had the opportunity to learn about them. Furthermore, it is important to acknowledge, particularly in light of the Vietnam War and the Cold War, the unquestioning loyalty exhibited by military officers and personnel. Despite their awareness that the official narrative may not reflect the whole truth, a significant number, and understandably so, held the belief that the military would eventually disclose all pertinent information once their investigations were concluded. This phenomenon can be attributed to the prevailing socio-political climate during that era, where trust in the military establishment remained steadfast, even in the face of potential deception. It should be noted that a significant portion of these findings never even reached the stage of being officially declared or disclosed to the public. This disregard for transparency and accountability has led many officers who have lost faith in the system to seek solace in the realm of UFO investigations. One individual who can corroborate this is Captain Bradford Runyon, as mentioned earlier. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that countless other incidents, spanning across several decades, further support his perspective. This highlights the undeniable fact that Captain Runyon is not alone in his experiences and observations. In the year 1998, a significant 30 years after the initial occurrence, Runyon reached out to the Center for UFO Studies located in Chicago. His intention was not only to disclose the information he possessed, but also to provide additional details to complete the missing pieces of the puzzle. Although there is a varying opinion among researchers and enthusiasts regarding the credibility of the incident, it is worth noting that according to a report, a comparable encounter occurred at Minot Air Force Base approximately 2 years prior, specifically in the autumn of 1966. This incident, like the one in question, has raised intrigue and speculation within the community, lending further weight to the overall subject matter. The unveiling of this account took place in the public sphere through the courageous disclosure of Captain David Schindel, who served in the United States military and has now emerged as a whistleblower. Astonishingly, according to Schindel, the cause of this event can be attributed to unidentified flying objects or the intelligence behind them. Given these circumstances, it becomes evident that the deployment of such weaponry in question would be rendered impracticable. Consequently, in the unfortunate event of an aggressive extraterrestrial presence, we would find ourselves utterly vulnerable and lacking any means of safeguarding against an assault. During that period, it is worth noting that numerous accounts of unidentified flying object sightings were indeed documented in state and local newspapers. One particularly significant event occurred on December 6, 1966, when the Minot Daily News featured a prominent front-page article. This article highlighted the Minot Air Force Base as a focal point for these peculiar sightings. The reports, although occasionally met with skepticism, gained substantial attention and sparked public curiosity regarding the existence of extraterrestrial phenomena in the vicinity. The question of whether Schindel's utilization of the newspaper article is solely driven by opportunism remains debatable. However, Schindel himself argues that as a result of the article's publication, the United States Air Force would impose a ban on any further coverage of the subject. This assertion opens up a deeper discussion about the motives and consequences behind Schindel's actions. Many individuals find the idea to be somewhat far-fetched and even seemingly impossible to regulate. However, it's important to note that this is not the initial assertion of its nature. In 2010, Schindel shared his first-hand experiences before ultimately publishing his aforementioned book. He asserted that receiving instructions to stay quiet or avoid discussing certain incidents was a frequent occurrence among individuals who had a substantial tenure at Minot Air Force Base. This prevalent phenomenon serves as a testament to the culture and environment within the institution. It is worth noting that Schindel's book sheds light on these occurrences, offering a comprehensive account of the various incidents that warranted secrecy and non-disclosure. During their deployment at the various facilities, numerous personnel have encountered inexplicable occurrences that can only be described as unworldly incidents. These instances were especially prevalent during their duty shifts. Interestingly enough, these incidents seemed to have a ripple effect, starting with one individual who bravely voiced their concerns and grievances, not necessarily from the same branch of the Air Force, which ultimately inspired many others to come forward with similar experiences. This chain reaction of whistleblowing has shed light on the extent of these occurrences and has prompted a deeper investigation into their nature and origin. In light of the growing number of revelations and the release of previously classified military and government documents, there appears to be a growing momentum among former servicemen to uncover the truth. However, it is important to note that there are still many ex-servicemen who choose not to discuss these incidents. This raises the question of whether these developments validate Schindele's claims that something unusual regularly occurred at the North Dakota military base, or if they have the opposite effect. By delving deeper into this topic, exploring various perspectives, and considering the implications of these revelations, we can shed more light on the validity of Schindele's assertions and the overall significance of the mounting evidence. On the morning of September 13, 1966, at approximately 7:30 in the morning in the peaceful town of Gwinner, North Dakota, a young schoolboy named Randy Rotenberger patiently stood outside his family residence, eagerly awaiting the arrival of his school bus. As he stood there, anticipating the typical yellow school bus, something extraordinary unfolded before his eyes. A peculiar sight manifested itself in the form of flashing lights. In his detailed observation, he would go on to mention that there were 3 pegs located on the underside of the spacecraft, providing stability and support. Additionally, he noted the presence of an antennae positioned on the top, likely serving as a communication device. The exterior of the craft was strikingly glossy and silver in color, capturing the attention with its mesmerizing shine. Upon regaining his composure, Randy hastily rushed back into the house, fervently calling out for his mother. His mind, once scattered, now focused on the urgent need to find her within the confines of their home. In her later recollection, she vividly remembered the moment when her son suddenly burst back into the house while she was in the midst of completing her phone call. Intriguingly, as she continued her conversation, she was able to discern an enigmatic whirring sound originating from the outside. Coincidentally, in sync with the peculiar noise, her son Randy excitedly exclaimed that he witnessed a UFO in the process of taking off. In regards to the incident involving the strange craft, Randy's mother unfortunately missed the opportunity to witness it firsthand, as she didn't arrive in time. However, the subsequent day brought an intriguing turn of events when Randy, along with 2 of his friends, stumbled upon compelling evidence indicating that the craft had indeed made a landing. The 3 individuals had successfully reached the location where Randy had previously observed the mysterious object. To their astonishment, and with a hint of skepticism, they stumbled upon a rather remarkable sight: distinct traces of scorch marks imprinted on the ground. Upon close examination, Randy noticed that the markings, measuring approximately a foot in diameter and 5 inches in depth, exhibited a distinct triangular arrangement. It became evident to him rather quickly that these marks corresponded to the same pegs he had observed beneath the unidentified object on the morning before. The triangular positioning of the markings, along with their size and depth, reinforced the connection between the marks and the pegs, leaving Randy with little doubt about their significance. After conducting their investigation, the researchers would present their findings to Randy's parents. In turn, Randy's parents would reach out to Cliff Melroe, the esteemed president of the Melroe Manufacturing Company. Understanding Cliff's extensive experience and knowledge in heavy-duty equipment, he would carefully examine the indentations and conclude that they were created by an exceptionally massive piece of machinery. As someone with a lifetime of exposure to such equipment, Cliff would confidently assert that these holes could not have been the result of any kind of hoax or fabricated incident. The undeniable weight and impact of the object responsible for the indentations corroborate the authenticity of the situation, dismissing any doubts or speculations regarding its legitimacy. Nevertheless, General Homer Goebel, a high-ranking officer from the Air National Guard stationed in the neighboring city of Fargo, put forth a rather unconventional explanation for the presence of 3 mysterious holes. He attributed them to the phenomenon known as ball lightning. Intriguingly, this alternative theory further complicated the case and gave rise to a surprising turn of events. The United States Air Force, recognizing the significance of the situation, promptly expressed their own viewpoint on the matter, a stance that vehemently contradicted Goebel's assessment and presented a contrasting perspective. Major Hames Aikman unequivocally affirms that the indentations left behind by the mysterious incident were firmly and densely compressed into the ground, leaving no room for doubt on the matter. The theory proposing that the phenomenon could be attributed to ball lightning was met with rejection due to the solid and compact nature of these depressions. So, what do you make of these mysterious stories? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.